Hi everyone, I'm Mark Thompson with the Royal Report, the weekly highlight show for the Reading Royals, the ECHL affiliate of the Toronto Maple Leafs and Toronto Marlies, as well as the Boston Bruins. When things aren't going well, and admittedly for the Royals, things had not been going so hot as we headed into last Wednesday's game against the Elmira Jackals, a good start is, well, good. So when the Royals took an early penalty, sending the Jackals on a power play in the first minute of the game, things were looking, well, bad. But goaltender Joe Palmer had an answer for that with a brilliant glove stop on a point-blank chance from Mario Laraque, and things turned, well, good again. As just about 3 minutes after the opening faceoff, Louis Liotti let the confetti rain with his first goal as a Royal in his 70th game with the team over 2 seasons. You knew it was going to happen. Some guys just take a little bit longer. And Liotti didn't stop there either. Later in the first, he started a rush that was finished when Matt Shepke sprang Liotti's old teammate, well, maybe not old, but former teammate at Northeastern University in Boston, Dennis McCauley, who went off the pipe and in for his third of the year with 5:06 remaining in the first. We got a 2-goal lead on the Jackals. Time to celebrate, right? Well, hold on to the rest of that confetti for a second, because this is really where our problems have been in the current winless streak. Not so much getting a lead, but keeping it. And unfortunately, those problems wouldn't end on this night. Going into this game, the Royals had, for lack of a better term, blown a third-period lead in 3 of the last 5 games. Yikes! So when Elmira's Matt Campanelli slipped one through from the right circle, 3:29 into the second period, it set up what we've come to dread most, particularly against the Jackals, a 2-1 lead as we headed into the third. But that didn't last long, 23 seconds to be exact, as Elmira created a mad scramble around the net right off the face-off to start play in the third, and the former Royal Kevin Harvey did what former Royals do to the Royals, stuck a dagger right in our hearts to tie the game at 2. But that would be it for the scoring in the hockey game, thanks in large part to Joe Palmer, who made 38 saves on 40 Elmira shots, including 3 in overtime on a Jackals power play. But when we got to the skills competition to resolve this thing, it turned into the Brian Stewart show, as all 3 Reading shooters, Yannick Riendo, Ryan Crothers, and the newest member of the team, Yannick Tifu, were stoned by Stewart, and 3 Jackals hit pay dirt to send the Royals to their 6th consecutive game without a win. I suppose we shouldn't feel too bad about being blanked by Elmira's Brian Stewart in the shootout on Wednesday night. We weren't the first and we weren't the last. He had actually never given up a shootout goal against in 14 attempts prior to Wednesday night's game, and he blanked the Trenton Titans after us in the shootout on Saturday night, so we got plenty of company in that dubious stat. One stat that wasn't dubious was the save percentage of goaltender Joe Palmer. Going into Friday night's game, Palmer had played in 7 straight for the Royals and had stopped 213 of the 225 shots he faced in that time span. That's a .947 save percentage for those of you who are inclined to paint by the numbers, and pretty darn good for the rest of us who got the nun's ruler on the knuckles for painting outside the lines. But when you start the conversation like that, I don't need to tell you what's coming next. Actually, you knew it was coming anyway. Unfortunately, it had to come when the top team in the Atlantic Division, the Wheeling Nailers, came for their first visit of the year to Reading. This mess started 9:44 into the game when the ECHL's reigning Rookie of the Month, Chris Barton, added another jewel to his crown when he pulled the puck out of a pile in the Royals' crease and went top cheese. 24 seconds after that, and like I said, you knew this was coming. Patrick Johnson slipped one through from a sharp angle deep on the left side to make it a 2-0 lead for Wheeling. And if that one wasn't good, this one ain't much better. 44 seconds into the second period, Barton bagged his second of the night from an equally squeaky angle while Wheeling was on the power play. Okay, so that would do it for Palmer in this one, as the Royals made their 4th in-game goaltending change of the season, and Karel Saint Laurent, who came on in substitution, got a rude welcoming in his first shot from the Nailers when the Royals were on the power play, and a soft play in the offensive end resulted in an odd man rush for Adam Ross, who went high short side to make it 4-zip Wheeling. And when Christian Manella punched back a rebound off the pipe to make it 5-0 Wheeling late in the second, the Royals had pretty much seen enough at that point and decided to take matters into their own hands. and sticks and gloves and helmets and just about everything else they could find, as Ryan Crothers sparked a melee with a questionable hit on Andrew Hotham on the end wall, and the gong show was on, with Dennis McCauley leading the parade with haymakers on everyone and everything in his way. Well, at least you can't say the Royals went down lightly in this one, but the league didn't go lightly either, as they decided Crothers needs to cool his heels for the next 6 games. Hey, on a positive note, if you want to call it that, the Royals did break up the shutout with a third-period goal by Dale Mitchell, but as we've grown accustomed to saying of late, that was small consolation in this fiasco, which proved to be the 7th regulation loss in 10 games the Royals have played at the Sovereign Center this year. Well, I hope I'm not giving away too much when I say that the Royals didn't win in Elmira on Saturday night either, stretching the team's winless streak to 8, 1 game short of the team record in that regard. But at least we didn't blow a third-period lead as we had in our prior 3 games against the Jackals, although we did blow a first-period lead. I know, let's all say it together. Small consolation. But things did start on a pretty decent note on Saturday night at First Arena in Elmira, New York, when Yannick Tifu, who racked up 129 points in 112 games with the Jackals over the past 2 seasons, got another point in Elmira. This one as a Royal, when he set up John Scrimgeour 447 into Tifu's return performance to the First Arena. But unfortunately for the Royals, Tifu and the rest of the team ran out of magic after that. And the Jackals, well, they were waving magic wands all over the Royals' net, particularly in the first period when they outshot Reading 19-7. But fortunately for Reading, it was young goaltender Karel St. Laurent who was pulling rabbits out of his hat left and right to keep Reading's lead intact. But you had the feeling that that was only going to last so long, and it did, as the Jackals got first-period goals from Jordan Petrus on a shot from the mid-slot at 16:25 into the first period, and then 2 minutes after that, it was Mike Raja, who, by the way, is fast working his way up the Royal Killer Power Rankings, as he ripped one home from the weak side on a later period power play for what would prove to be the game winner. Raja did add some insurance late in the third, but it proved unnecessary because, well, in the understatement of the day, the Royals are struggling putting the puck in the net. Just 15 total goals over the current 8-game winless streak, and that in many ways is the Cliff Notes version of why it is an 8-game winless streak. Although if you go old school and read the whole novel, there are several other reasons as well. So we got 50 games to go, which is plenty of time to point this thing in the right direction, but it's probably not wise to get too caught up in the long view and stay focused on the next one, which is Thursday night at the Sovereign Center against the resurgent Trenton Titans. After that, we've got 4 in a row against the Wheeling Nailers, starting in Wheeling on Friday night and then back home against the Nailers on Sunday afternoon. Until then, this has been Mark Thompson with the Royal Report.